Hello, Pisces. Welcome to your March 2025 reading. My name is Nigel, and you have found ÄLKØMԻ. Okay, so let's get started right away. You have drawn the Seven of Swords. Now, this is your overarching energy for the month, and with these larger tarot cards that overarch your month, I do not take them in reverse. However, I do take note of it. So this came in reverse. Let's look at this card for a second here, Pisces. It is definitely Uranus and Aquarius. It is the feeling of being deceived, perhaps. But I'm not really sure how accurate it is. It could be something you're worried about. It could be, you could be looking at someone as if they're not telling you the truth. Another meaning of this card could be that you feel you are being very strategic with something, when in reality, it's not as strategic as you think. So we'll keep that under our hats as we go along. You do have the spell, and it says, light a candle for me and call me in. I will come to you again and again. Usually when I get this card, I look at it as if your words speak spells. Also, there might be someone trying to draw you into their energy this month, right? And it's right next to the card of concentration. And it says, there's lack of focus. Take a step back and center yourself before making a big decision during this time. And so the concentration card, especially here with the spell card, it tells me very similar things. You have lack of focus with the way your mind might be wandering. Your mind might be wandering to the worst case scenario, or you might be believing that you're making ground with something and that you're doing the right thing with something, but I think it's been implanted in your brain from when you were younger. Now, this could be an event that took place. It could be your parents that, all our parents brainwash us, whether they're great parents or not great parents. Our environment brainwashes us. Our parents, what our parents go through, they sort of inflict that on us, right? So if your mother got into a car accident, a very bad car, she'll constantly be worried that you're going to get, and she'll instill that fear in you, right? If your father got ripped off by his partner, he's going to constantly have this negative view and this negative thing about money and not trusting people. And that'll be passed on to you, whether you consciously realize it or not, whether they consciously want to do it or not. It is just the way it is, right? So with that in mind, let's keep going. You have two cards here. You have two goddesses. And if you notice, they're both, the cards are both very watery, like yourself. Very, very water energy here. So that is very telling. You have Freya here. And, technically speaking, she doesn't really have much to do with water, but in this deck, she's denoted that way. And she is known as an avid shapeshifter. She's a goddess from Norse mythology associated with, war, sexuality, love, fertility. Her name translates into mistress. This is a call to reclaim something, or reclaim something that you have lost. Many times it's, I don't know if that's true in this reading, but a reclamation is at hand. Something that you were born with that you may have lost sight of. And that sort of goes with everything else we have been saying here, right? There is some sort of limiting belief that you were taught either through an event or through your parents that you sort of need to get rid of. And you have here Thetis. And this is such a beautiful card. It really does remind me of Pisces in so many ways. And she is the Greek goddess of the sea, right? She has the ability to shapeshift. So there is a shape-shifting energy here. I believe I did Leo's reading before you, and that's actually the name of their video. So if you have Leo highly aspected in your chart, you may want to give that a listen. But this is a very between these two archetypes, a very shape-shifting energy. You're being called to shift into something else, right? She has the ability to shapeshift like Freya, but use your beliefs, your past beliefs, your current beliefs as stepping stones, never allowing them to be set in stone. You have the power to break molds, to be that wrecking ball, right? You have the power to do that, regardless of what you've been taught, regardless of what your brain is telling you now. You're very powerful, especially this month. This is all coming out for this month. Let's keep going now. Now, as far as your stone, this is a very interesting stone, right? This is called, let me see if I can pronounce it, chalcopyrite. Chalcopyrite. Now, I am an avid collector of pyrite, right? But this is a little bit different. And I have to tell you, I think I've done about half of this series already, and you're going to be the only sign, at least so far, that I'm actually saying you should go out and buy this stone. The other readings was more symbolic. Actually, I'm a Pisces stellium myself, so I'm really thinking honestly about buying this for me. And when I say that, I'm not trying to sell you anything because I do not sell it, right? But what I will tell you is that do not go to Temu for anything as far as crystals. Don't go to Amazon and eBay. I mean, there's a very small chance on Amazon and eBay you'll get something real, but it's a gamble. And Temu, I mean, there's a 90% chance you're going to get Chinese glass. So my advice to you is to go to a local brick and mortar crystal shop unless you have somebody online, and try not to go to those Facebook crystal groups, because even if the person selling it is the nicest person in the world, sometimes they buy from China and they don't realize that they're selling something fake. So I'm very, very skeptical about many things online, but if you have an online source that you trust emphatically, then go for it. Now, this particular crystal shouldn't be more than, $13, $15, right? We're not, if that much. We're not talking about an expensive crystal, but if it's not real, then it's useless to you. So oh, let me read this. And it says here, I am healthy and strong thanks to physical movement and exercise. Yeah. All right. I'm not really feeling the physical stuff, but I am feeling what this crystal encompasses. What it does is it aligns chakras, it activates and aligns them to remove blockages, and it assists in changing habits that may be contributing to this. Habits you may not realize you have. Finding a personal life plan, breaking barriers. Just make sure when you go to the store that it is not pyrite. Although I love pyrite, that is not what you need, right? Write this down. And really look for this particular stone. It's also it's copper laden, so it's a conductor. It conducts things. I'm very interested in it, and I collect crystals, but I've actually never heard of this particular crystal. And being that it's kind of related to pyrite, I'm very interested in it. Plus, like I said, I myself am a Pisces stellium. So with all that said, let's move on. You do have here, if the world around you seems turbulent, stop. So you may be feeling a bit of turbulence this month. You may be feeling a little bit lost parts of this month. I don't want to jump ahead, but you do have the Crossroads ruin here, and that would explain that feeling. It's almost necessary for you to eliminate certain things and expand upon other things. So before we do your astrology, I think we should go straight to your charms. You do have the Crossroads, which is ruin here, and it's not easy energy. It is very beneficial energy, but it's you may feel overwhelmed part of this month. You may feel lost coming into the month. You have to look at this like it is a perception. It should be peripheral. If you feel this way, push it off to the side and say, okay, this is necessary. This is something that I'm supposed to be feeling. I need to get through this time and make the right decision so I can then level up, right? So you have here you have W, U, and Q as far as initials. Now, this could be a person's initials. It could be a place you find yourself, whether you work there or whether you could be the name of a crystal shop. It literally could be a city, it could be a state, it could be anything, and it's going to be different for each Pisces. So if I were you, rather than come back to the reading, just write down the letters and see how it pans out by the end of the month. I guarantee either one or all three of those letters will mean something to you here, Pisces. Now, you have fairy tale that is possible for you, but it was upside down. And this is, in other words, when the charms are upside down, it's different from inverted tarot cards. It means that it's something you don't readily see. You may not see this coming. You may not see the good in this, but this is good. This is the possibility of a brand new chapter for you. You also have the phallic symbol and the the feminine symbol. So you have this balance of feminine and masculine. It could be a relationship coming into your life. You know, whether you are gay, straight, it doesn't really matter. Like there is even in gay relationships, it's the same thing. There is a balance of two things that come together, right? There is that masculine and feminine energy that comes together. And this is very indicative of a choice of a relationship that you may be having, or if you're already in a relationship that you're happy with, of the leveling up of that relationship, especially with this fairy tale charm. Very, very nice energy here. Beautiful, beautiful goddesses too, especially for Pisces. So let's move on to your astrology. Okay, so where to begin? Okay, let's start here. This is new moon in Libra. Wow, and it says a new romantic cycle begins. So yeah, we were right about that. I do think this is romantic based. If you were looking for, it's probably too soon to brush you off because I do see other cards in here. Let's just keep going. You have a supermoon here and it says luminosity, intimacy, hyper awareness. The supermoons usually happen around the fall. There's 3 supermoons in a year. But when we look at the supermoon in general, okay, we have the reason we call it a supermoon is it appears bigger and brighter in the sky because it's closer than usual to the earth. Technically, it occurs anytime the moon is within 200,000 miles. Its formal name is perigee synergy, which is why I never say it. And yeah, I find pronunciation very, very hard sometimes. I'm just not sure why. Now, supermoons are believed to amplify astrological traits of whatever zodiac sign it's in. So pay attention if you're feeling the supermoon's effects more intensely than that of any other moon. But being that it came out in your reading, and I know that there's no supermoon scheduled for March, I would say that you're going to be feeling a pull, a gravitational pull, and it's going to almost be supermoon like, even though there is no actual. It's very potent, it's very powerful. This is a very powerful time. It's an amplification of stuff that is going on, that may have been going on under the surface, that maybe you pushed down and just said, I have more important things to think about. It's now coming to the surface here, Pisces. You also have transits, and it says insight, movement, and change. I can see that already with your oracles. There is change here on the table. Transits are a method of like interpreting planetary movements, right, as they tradition through the sky. Astrologers use transits to forecast things, you know, talk about your birth chart, the transits for the year in general, political transits. On a personal level, transits are used to interpret the movement of planets in your chart, right? So take note of where the transit is happening in your personal birth chart. You may be able to go to Cafe Astrology and get something like that done for free for the month. I'm really not sure as far as transits go. I know you could get your birth chart done, but tracking this is going to be very useful. And because it came out in your reading, I think it has bearing for you this month. I have a feeling that if you really looked at your birth chart and you looked at March 2025, I think you're going to be experiencing a pretty heavy transit. When I say heavy, I don't mean bad. It just life-changing. Right? There's something life-changing definitely going on here for you, Pisces. So you also pulled Saturn, right? And this is number 19 in this deck. Saturn rules Capricorn. It also rules Aquarius. It is the taskmaster, right? It's lessons. It is lessons, right? So you have a choice here whether to learn this lesson or not. I mean, listen. Whatever here is here on the table, you could just walk away from it and say, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to deal with it. I have other things to do. And this will just come right back around at some point. So when it comes to things like this, many, many times, it's better to just do it. Just do the work and get through the month so you could then move on to the next thing. And the next thing, I have a feeling, is going to be very positive for you. Now, as far as Saturn goes, what's great is that on March 12th, you have Sun in Pisces conjunct Saturn in Pisces, and something you have wished for has the ability to manifest around that time. Use your energy in this time to embrace your magic. And these two things, you speak spells, concentration, pushing things on the peripheral that cause you fear, but focusing on the things that you need to get through this time. I can't say it enough. I really do think that this stone will help you get through the month. And like I said, I'm definitely not selling you anything here. So let's move on to your tarot because I'm invested. Okay, so for your first oracle here, your tea leaf, it says handshake. A meeting with a stranger could be important. Being that it has come in reverse, I'm really wondering if some of you anyway are going to say, not today. I don't feel like doing this. It could be that you don't trust this person. I think that there is a certain level of mistrust or misdirection, and that's coming from something outside of you. Like I said, an event from your past, your parents, something. You have here, oh, by the way, I just want to let you know that from here to here, these cards have very different astrological correspondences 90% of the time. So when I say something that makes no sense to you, if you know astrological correspondences, then that's why. It took a bit for me to get used to. Plus, the meanings can be slightly different. Not always, but sometimes. So with that said, to start your month off, you have the Two of Swords. And, the Two of Swords is Venus in Libra energy, and at least in this deck. And the key to this card, in this deck anyway, is learning how to sit and judge with your mind while listening to your heart, right? The gift here is knowing and speaking your truth, not someone else's truth, from a place of balance and power. It also signals a withdrawal from problems and distractions surrounding you to concentrate on something else. You have an internal concentration, which I think is very, very good. And this leads into the Two of Cups as a choice, because my sideways cards are always choices here, Pisces. And this is Moon in Cancer in this deck. It is the choice of a romantic relationship, a strong physical attraction, harmony, a magnetic force. The key here is to be open to the gift. It's possible bliss, but it is coming in sideways along with the handshake in reverse. And I'm wondering if some of you are you're just not open to it. Some of you might not be open to it. Some of you might not be open to this particular person. I do think this is some sort of scar tissue from your past. I get it. I mean, I do. Sometimes you go through life and you go through periods of time in your life where you're like, you know what? I've been through enough with relationships. I'm going to concentrate on my job. I'm going to concentrate on my goals. I don't want anything to do with relationships right now. Some of you may feel that way, or some of you may also feel that this particular person just isn't for you. And so this sideways card denotes indecision or a decision that needs to be made. Now, these two cards came out together. You have the Queen of Wands and the Seven of Pentacles. And when you look at this, we'll start with the Queen of Wands. In this deck anyway, this is straight up Leo energy. This isn't Sun in Leo or Saturn in or Aries, or it's Leo. And you can see the Leo, the lion here on the card. And the Queen of Wands is the mother of creation. She's dynamic, she's courageous, she's confident, she's passionate. She symbolizes the potential for manifestation. Be very honest and clear about what you want. Be honest and be clear. Don't be wishing or trying to manifest from a place of hurt or scar tissue. Try to push past that. It takes a lot of strength here, Pisces. You also have the Seven of Pentacles that came out with it. And, the Seven of Pentacles is Saturn and Taurus in this deck. When this card arrives, a goal is within reach and can be reached. Your hard work can pay off here. Harvest is at hand. This card brings you to a crossroads. An opportunity. All you need to do is believe. All you need to do is believe. Pretty good, but definitely your choice, right? Definitely your choice. Okay, let's move on to your second leg. I forgot to tell you, when we add this up and we break it down, we do get 11. And 11 is many things, right? 11 are two things coming together, right? Possibility of it. It's also a bridge, right? And it is a cardinal number that is an initiator. So something has the potential to be initiated here. You just need to be open to it here. And also you've pulled two number twos. I mean, that magical number two over and over again, right? Associated with one of your own cards, the High Priestess. Intuition is needed here. And decision making from an intuitive place is at hand. So keep that in mind as you enter the month. When we look at your next leg, you have sunrise here in reverse, and this is a creative ideas, new ventures, a fresh start. And I'm telling you, this is in reverse. So for it to be here at all, right? This is something you're being offered that some of you are going to reject, or some of you are going, your first impulse is going to be no. I said that from the beginning. Something may not be as it seems or as you're interpreting it, if that makes sense, right? So your first card on your second leg, and this is where the deck of, if you're familiar with tarot at all, you're going to be like, what? But this is a different deck, right? So this is the King of Swords coming in sideways. And in this deck, the King of Swords is pure Gemini energy. It's not Sun in Aquarius as we're used to seeing. And with the sideways cards, you're going to have another choice on how to feel, how to respond. And, you know, some of you, the King of Swords upright is clear thinking, balanced, logical. He relishes truth and clarity. And in the opposite direction, he can be a little obstinate, right? Unbalanced, verbally he could be standoffish. He could maybe not too much, he could maybe not be making a lot of sense, where the King of Swords makes perfect sense, right? You may be in a very confusing crossroads, a very confusing time. You're going to have to sort it out. We've all been there. This leads into your center cards, and you have pulled two. And this is the card that sort of, this is the energy that sort of highlights your month. So you have the Six of Cups in reverse and the Six of Pentacles in reverse for your center cards. And the sixes, you know, is the number for relationships. I mean, it just is. It's a very relationship laden card. And you know, taking this one at a time, you have the six. Let's start with the Six of Cups. You have the Six of Cups here, and the Six of Cups is coming in reverse. And in this deck, this is Neptune in Scorpio. Put that there so I can pick it up. And it's letting go of a part of you that was taught or impressed upon from a past event or person. Letting go of that, letting go of the past, letting go of that. There is this. You need to let go of something, but you need to address it first. You know, some of you know exactly what I'm talking about, and some of you it'll come to you as the month wears on. But with the Six of Pentacles right next to it, right? A relationship hangs in the balance here. You have Mercury and Taurus for this card, and this came out with the Six of Cups, and it may be, there may be a point you may be holding back, right? Either because of fear or because of a blockage. And remember, you are creating this month. It's a creation month. So if you start holding back, because you're holding on to something from the past that you're either unaware of or you don't think is particularly important, but there is a fear-based energy here that is preventing you from moving forward. And there is something manifesting that you may not take very seriously. You may not take this very seriously, but it is something that you should be taking seriously, because all this energy, right, mid-month is leading you to the Eight of Wands in reverse. And the Eight of Wands in reverse is Jupiter and Sagittarius. And that's lack of forward motion. You feel stuck. You feel there's a certain thing that you're feeling, but I have to tell you, when you start to feel this way, you have to understand that it's part of it. You have to feel this in order to understand there's a problem. You have to feel this in order to look back on your life and say, okay, where did I learn this behavior? Where did I first feel this fear? And fear doesn't have to be, petrified. It just means a little bit of a worry, a scare, a fear. There could be a fear here. Where did it come from? When was the first time I ever felt that? Did it come from my parents, my background, or something that happened to me legitimately that I kind of just need to get over in order to be healthy again, to relish this healthy situation. When we add this up and we break it down, we get the moon, and that's Cancer energy. The subconscious part of you is at play, okay? And that is something that needs to be addressed, okay? Let's move on to your final leg. So you have the peacock, and the peacock is beware of great pride. This could be a prideful thing. Maybe somebody hurt your pride in the past along with your heart. And maybe you swore it would never happen again. You're like, I'm never going to let that happen again. There is a decision that needs to be made with the sideways card, whether to let go of that or not. Okay, that might be part of it. Now, yeah, and here, look at this. It's so true. You have the Three of Swords, and the Three of Swords, I mean, we know, even in this deck, it has the same type of meaning, right? This is Uranus and Libra in this deck, but the heart is carrying sorrow. The key here is not to work through, right? It is to work through it, right? But not to work through it in a way that just pushes it aside, right? You need to address it. You need to look at it like this is a block to my happiness. So I have to address it. I have to feel it. I have to understand where it's coming from. And then I have to release it. The sideways card is pain as a choice, even if it's subconscious. With that subconscious energy we were talking about, this leads straight into the Prince of Swords. And the Prince of Swords, especially in the upright here, the Prince of Swords is pure air energy in this deck. He seeks truth. He's determined. He's motivated. He's ready to take action after an unburden. He unburdened himself. So I really believe many of you are going to do this work and reap the benefits of it, right? He brings messages. He brings new ideas. He brings surprises. He brings unexpected positive information. And this leads straight into the Nine of Wands. And, you know, this is coming in sideways, so this is more of a choice that you have to make here. But the Nine of Wands is coming in sideways as Mars and Sagittarius energy. It's a choice between being persistent and resilient or giving up and surrendering and saying, I don't want that. It's a choice. Some of you will make a different choice, but I have to tell you, I think a lot of you are going to do this work and, like I said, reap the benefits of that. Because when we add this up and we break it down, we get Jupiter energy. It's that Sagittarian optimism, that expansive energy, right? And you have two number threes here. And number 3 is expansive, very much like Jupiter, right? It's a creative force. So you're creating something here, and it's here for the taking, Pisces. And, you know, just so you know, if you decide this isn't for you, if you decide, hey, listen, you know, I need more time, this isn't going to be the last, you know, chance you have at a relationship or a last chance you have at happiness. You're going to have to go through the lesson, if not this month and next year or next week or next month or whatever, but do it at your own pace, right? Don't force yourself, but understand if you do get through this lesson, there is a reward waiting for you. You do get a reward. So let's move on to your challenges. With your challenges, you have the stork, which is news of a birth or a business opportunity. And I do think the stork here, especially coming in reverse, is a potential creation of something beautiful. And the challenge here, you're going to have a challenge. Your challenge here is going to be, do I reject this? And another card that came out was the Hand, in need of help, assistance, and guidance. And you may feel like the peacock, you may be too proud to ask for that guidance. Okay? There is someone that is willing to give you the guidance if you want it. If you want it. Here in your challenges, you also have, it's not surprising, you have the moon, right? And the moon, obviously, we've said it before, is Cancer energy. Things may not be clear. This is your challenge pile. It may not be clear at all times this month. Many times this month, they're going to be unclear. See your past, right? This is temporary. You have to see past this and know that it's temporary and it's necessary. So when you're going through it, if you think of those two words, temporary and necessary, you will get through this. Because listen, you have 3 major arcana in your challenges. You have, the next card up is the Tower. And you know what? not exhaling because I'm not exhaling for the reasons you think. I'm exhaling because this is such an important month for you, right? You have the Tower, and it's Aries Mars energy. It's the destruction of beliefs and foundational lessons that you carry with you into this month. It's purging. You're purging. There is a sudden catalyst for all this. Maybe it's this person. Maybe it is. You have here the Strength card in reverse. Leo energy. You know, this is a different deck, right? And so it's Leo energy, and it's the Strength in reverse is the need to see past inherent fears and forge ahead. There is something that's causing you fear, whether you want to look at it or not, whether you want to admit it or not, or whether you want to even see it or not. You know, you may not see it as fear. You may see it as strategy. You may see it as being smart. You're like, I was not smart in the past. I'm going to be smart this time. It could very well be, right? But these are three major arcana along with these two cards, okay? And when we add this up and we break it down, we get Venus energy, and it's not surprising, right? The planet of love. It's not surprising. It'll be a challenge, but it'll be worth it, okay? Let's look at your opportunities now. So in your opportunities pile, you do have older woman, and it says dealings or relationships with an older woman. Yes, obviously that could be a relationship card, but it also could be somebody that you go to for that support and advice that I talked about. There could be an older woman in your life that would be very, very good for you in that way. The first card up here in your opportunity sector is the Queen of Wands, just like where? Here. They're both upright. And I'm wondering now if this person is the person that is encouraging you to do X, Y, and Z. Or if this is a love interest. The Queen doesn't have to be a woman, but you know, I can't help but think this might be someone who, at least for some of you, who you go to for advice. The Queen of Wands in the upright is in this deck, or in pretty much any deck, a woman who is kind, helpful, and supportive, and very, very optimistic. In this deck, she's Jupiter and Aries, and because this came out twice, this is an important energy for you. This is something you need to look out for. Now, here in another opportunity card, here, as you believe it or not, you have the Ten of Cups in reverse, and this is Mars and Pisces energy, a chance to reassess what makes you happy. I think that I don't know. I think for many of you, you were told what to want. I think for others of you, you left that road. You were pushed off that road. Maybe the pain did it. You were like, nope, I don't want that anymore. But you're being asked, you're not being told what makes you happy here, but you're being asked to ask that to yourself. There is an opportunity here to reassess what makes you happy. And here, as yet another choice that you have to make in your opera, you have the opportunity for choice with the Seven of Cups. There is an opportunity here. Now with the Seven of Cups, it's Venus and Scorpio energy. Obviously a choice, a sideways card. A choice between stagnation and being frozen in fear, or releasing that and making that choice with clarity and intention. Clarity and intention. You're at a crossroads. I'm telling you, you have a chance here at something. I would take it seriously here. When we add this up and we break it down, we get Saturn again. We're right back to the beginning. That lesson, that karmic situation that you need to go through in order to level up, in order to move past it, right? It's Capricorn Aquarius energy. Crossroads. It's very, very similar to Crossroads energy, I have to tell you. Let's look at our Nordic deck. Let me get my cards here, and then we will do your numerology for the month. Interesting reading, and I can't wait to personally look for that stone. There's not many stones I'm interested in that way that I don't already own. For Pisces for March, please. Pisces for March. Okay, you have Jarl and Erna. It is a couples card. It is a couples card. And the card can have many different meanings depending on the reading, but these are two people that would be perfect to build together. They can come together and build things. They can build a future. They can build money. They can build abundance. They're a good fit for one another. And with the rest of your reading, it really doesn't surprise me. It's a positive card, and it is here for the taking, Pisces, but it is not an absolute thing that you need to right now. if you believe you need more time. So keep that, you know, keep that under your hat as you go through your month, right? Now, as far as your numbers go, your numbers are kind of interesting. The number we talked about the most was number 7, and that is you. That is Neptune. That is Pisces. And for depending on what sign I'm reading for, I have different things to say. It can be a little confusing, but you relish Neptune energy. That's your energy. So it's not going to be the same to you as it would be Aquarius or a different sign. This is very, very romantic energy. It can be slightly confusing for you, but you may feel very confident in your choices, right? You may feel very confident and very on track. And so when this happens, you're kind of knocked off and you're like, man, I thought I had it. I don't think I want this. I don't think I need this, right? So keep that in mind. And what's another thing that's fascinating is when we add all the numbers in this reading up and we break it down, we get Neptune again. So it's like double. Whatever I just said, double that, okay? Now, your lucky numbers are 2, 6, 11, 3, 19, and 7. The signs we talked about were Taurus, Gemini, Leo, Cancer, Sagittarius, Libra, Aries, Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn, and Scorpio. As far as planets go, the 2 planets that we talked about the most were the moon, right? That moon energy, and Venus, right? And, you know, for all the reasons we said, right? The moon energy could be very Cancer, right? Very Cancer-like, but it is hazy. It's a little bit confusing. You know, what we see in the light of the moon can be very deceiving. So we have to kind of watch out for that. But that Venus energy is showing up over and over again for you. And the 3 signs that we mentioned the most were Libra, which is Venus energy, Sagittarius, which is that expansive Jupiter energy, and Cancer energy, which is the moon again. So I wish you all the luck. If you know who this is, please let me know in the comments. And if you don't, and you end up meeting this person, please let me know that too, because I really love happy endings. Okay, and by the way, happy birthday. Your birthday reading is going to be coming out, and the reading is going to be a pick a card or pick a crystal reading, and it's going to be 3 blessings that are coming just for you in your birthday year 2025 to 2026. So don't miss that. I will see you next time, Pisces. Namaste.